Good morning. My name is Renee DiPilato, and I am the Director of Libraries and Historical Resources. Thank you. Welcome to Sarasota County's Centennial Closing Event. On July 1st, 1921, Sarasota became Florida's 60th county, and today we are marking the end of our 100-day celebration. Over the last 3 months, through our centennial programs, we've explored a myriad of topics ranging from art and culture to architecture and archaeology. This celebration has truly highlighted the unique people, places, and events that make Sarasota County such a wonderful community. And it was quite an honor that our Libraries and Historical Resources team was the lead department for this once-in-a-lifetime celebration. I would like to recognize our county commissioners, elected officials, county administrators, representatives from our municipalities, and members from our various historical and archaeological societies throughout the county. And I would also like to thank people from our community who have been integral to this celebration, whether participating in workshops, attending lectures, or lending their own expertise to our events. We are most grateful to the City of Northport and their City Commission for hosting us here at Warm Mineral Springs, one of the truly unique places in our county. And closing our centennial here brings the celebration full circle. Thank you all for joining us as we mark this special occasion. And without further delay, I would like to introduce Commissioner Ron Cutzinger.
Thank you, Renee. It was just a short 100 days ago that we gathered in North County at our iconic courthouse with its rich history to kick off our 100-year celebration. Today, and I guess I would call it something of a contrast, we're closing out our centennial when we meet here in South County in a distinctly different venue, which is Warm Mineral Springs. Now, Jonathan, as I was preparing my thoughts for today, I realized I've been privileged to call this place home for half of that century. I don't know why, but when you say half a century, it just seems like a long time, doesn't it?
You moved here when you were
Yeah, I was very young. In fact, it's in my notes. I was very young when I moved here. I've been blessed to raise my family here, build my business here, and be a part of this amazing community and experience all it has to offer. It truly is an honor to represent the Board of County Commissioners here today. And I want to say kudos to the organizers for choosing this venue to close out our celebration. What a great job, Renee. You've just done a great job. I think about Warm Mineral Springs and how it speaks to the past. It reminds us of our history, and it showcases what we value as a community, our treasured environmental assets. A couple of weeks ago, there was a lot of excitement as we broke ground for the Northport extension of Legacy Trail, which ultimately will connect here to Warm Mineral Springs. I'm excited about that. Are you excited about that? That's going to be great. Just south of here, very recently, the board purchased an additional 1,500 acres of conservation easements to add to the over 120,000 acres of preserves, parks, and protected lands that surround the Myakka River Basin. That's terrific. And again, it shows what we value as a community. So you have Warm Mineral Springs reminding us of our history and speaking to the past. And then South County, for me, speaks to the future. There's so much excitement and so much potential here and so much growth going on. Remember, I was here 50 years ago when going through Northport was the blink of an eye. That's changed just a little bit in those 50 years. So it's one of the fastest growing and thriving cities in the state with amazing future plans. So Northport is the place that speaks to the future. Amenities like Bob Johnson's Landing, the Legacy Trail connectors, the Brave Stadium, future plans including a sports destination complex along with construction beginning very soon on the River Road expansion. We're looking forward to that. SCTI and Shannon-Staub, a lot of exciting things happening here in South County. And so that speaks to the future. I believe that the next 100 years is going to be like the past. full of hope, amazing opportunity, and success. And for the bicentennial, I hope they will be able to gather at this very spot where we ended our celebration and begin theirs, and look back to us and be able to say that we have been faithful stewards of this amazing place. And with that, it's my privilege to welcome our county administrator, John Lewis, to say a few words.
So they give you a script for these things, but I actually can't read it without my cheaters on. So we're just gonna kind of go. So Jill said I'll be fine. So I just echo a lot of what Commissioner Cutzinger said. How amazing it is to start our centennial celebration at our historic courthouse. And so many people from all around the county came to that event. And when Renee and her team brought forward the idea of, hey, what if we work with the city of Northport, see if we can do it at War Mineral Springs as a capstone to our 100 days of celebration. I was like, well, you got to make that happen. And I don't know how you do it, but just go make it happen. Her and her team did with the city's support, and she's just been extremely complimentary, Jason, of the staff work from the city and supporting us to get through this event. So thank you to you and the commission. So, I was talking to Tom Harmer, who was the county administrator in the past, was actually the county administrator when the city and the county were trying to figure out what the ownership looked like. And Tom commented that this is the best he's ever seen the grounds actually look. So again, kudos to the team in Northport and the work you all are doing. Just absolutely amazing here. And I think back to almost 11 years ago, actually the first place I stayed in Northport, well, technically it's just outside Northport, but at the War Mineral Springs Motel, when I came for my interview here in the city and stayed at that facility. And I actually got to do a tour of the spring that very week as part of my process of becoming the city manager of Northport. And then as we went through the transition of what the ownership would look like and who would be responsible for the day-to-day and the ultimate vision and dream and plan for this facility, and the city took responsibility for that. It's so nice to walk into this 100th day of celebration, or the end of our 100 days anyway, knowing that the city has a plan for the future, and they've put their investment into play, a significant investment into play, to really make sure what Commissioner Cutzinger said, that 100 years from now, I think he was talking about we should leave a playbook for them for 100 years from now to kick it off here. But what a great job that the city has done in moving towards that future. So thank you. You know, I also think about some of the transition from the city to county. It's actually the only time when I was the city manager where there was angst with the county, you know, and it wasn't a staff-to-staff angst. It wasn't a political body-to-political body angst. It was a stressful situation. But that is part of the 100 years of what makes us Sarasota County. We've had those types of opportunities and challenges with every municipality we have, and we're very blessed here in Sarasota County to have the types of professionals working in the municipalities and at the county to bring us forward, not just in the next 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, but as we go forward and continue to celebrate what Sarasota County as a whole is. So about 3 years ago, we started the conversation, oh my goodness, we have a 100-year centennial coming up. What do we do? And that was before Renee was with us, you know, and we were talking, Brad, and we had a team, and we were starting to look at what that might look like. And then we were lucky enough to have Renee join us as our Director of Libraries and Historical Resources. And her and the team, of course, it includes library and our Historical Resources team, and let's just give them a quick applause, right? It is a small but mighty group. If you've never spent some time with them, you really ought to. They accomplish amazing things with very limited resources. But for them to pull together the concept in a relatively short period of time, we had to make a switch, particularly when COVID hit, right? Yeah. To come up with the idea of trying to make a real event of celebrating our birthday, which is what this is, just nothing short of impressive. And they worked with lots of people throughout our community. But Renee, it would just be, I'd be remiss if not acknowledging your team and the people you work with, your team in Parks and those that you brought together to make this happen. So in communications, everybody just did a fantastic job, and our cities that were right there to celebrate with us as we went along. So Renee, good job to you and the team. I think Commissioner Cutzinger is right. Is there anybody can look at where we are as a county? Forget everything else going on in the world, but where we are as a county. We have economic opportunity. We have the opportunity to preserve land, as the commissioner talked about, to protect it for the future. We're just filled with hope as we go forward. Again, 5, 10, 15. He was going ambitious 100 years. I'm not quite there, but I wouldn't mind looking back 30 years from now and seeing what this all looks like, not just this site, but this area, South County, and Northport in general. So with that, I am going to transition to the mayor. It's a perfect time as we talk about South County and the bright future down here to transition to her. And Jill Luke, everybody.
I was asked to talk about the historical aspect of Warm Meadow Springs. So I have far more notes than they do because there's so much to talk about when you talk about the springs. But on behalf of the City of Northport and the Commission, I'm honored to welcome you to Northport, to Warm Meadow Springs, and to our collective heritage. This sacred location delivers ancient history to more than just this county. Indeed, it delivers ancient history to the entire North American continent. This extremely unique spring holds many wonders of nature and historical data that tells us about our ancient past, going back 30,000 years. The spring is 236 feet across, 230 feet deep, and it's shaped like an hourglass. The stalactites and the stalagmites at the 130-foot depth, and the debris from the collapsed roof of a cavern, which forms a cone shape in the center of the bottom, shows the archaeologists the ancient history of this place before the glaciers of the Ice Age melted and the water table rose in this sinkhole filled to the top. Because of 2 hot water vents, 97 degrees, feeding into the spring and mixing with 2 cooler vents of 76 degrees, it stays quite consistent at 85 degrees year-round. There are 51 minerals found within the water also, the highest mineral count anywhere in this country. It is because of these characteristics that people come from all over the world to relax in the medicinal waters, where many guests report improved health and healing. The history of life at the springs was uncovered in the 1950s when William Royal and other scuba divers went down into the depths and found artifacts and human remains. Proper exploration was done, though, in the 1970s with Sonny Cockrell, who found remains of the Pleistocene animals and human remains dating back 12,000 years. Evidence of Paleo-Indian and archaic cultures, and including possibly the oldest known intentional burial in North America. The archaeological and medicinal traits are not the only treasures of this place. In the last years of the 1950s, the Sarasota College of Architecture architect Jack West constructed the 3 buildings that we have here in time for the quadricentennial in 1959. Keep in mind, Northport wasn't incorporated until 1959. Mr. West wove into this mid-century style structures a connection to the spring itself, offering an experience within the design. The length of the tunnel that leads from the front of the first building down to the end of the second building is the same 230-foot depth as the spring. The shape of the buildings with the narrow breezeway in the center reflects the hourglass shape of the spring. While mid-century architecture is slipping away from our presence, it is appreciated and loved by many who are connoisseurs of construction styles. The Cyclorama, of which only 3 remain in the United States, depicts a story and legend of Ponce de Leon and his search for the fountain of youth. That story has been a portion of the wonder of this spring over the years also. For the preservation and history, or of history and legacy, the Northport Commission chose to preserve the structures and have them restored. The water was designated historical in 1977, and the buildings received that designation in 2019. A master plan was sought out through community input, and Kimley Horn has overseen that process for approximately 3 years. The $9.2 million for the restoration of all 3 of these buildings was just approved 2 days ago in our meeting Tuesday night. It's emotional to me. I can't wait. Personally, what I really desire to see is the students of Ringling College to redo the artwork within the Cyclorama, to have those students be able to leave a legacy of their work on this sacred site, to me, would be a dream come true. I believe it's only proper that a college within Sarasota have a hand, as they did initially, to participate in the restoration. History being made while preserving history, to me, is a perfect combination. Personally, I cherish this site. I try to swim in the waters weekly. It's a place that I can reflect, relax, and restore my being. Thank you, County, for choosing this site to have the final celebration of the 100th anniversary. Though this site existed before Northport was incorporated, before the county was incorporated, it is our history and our heritage. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Okay, we're not quite done. I want to thank all of you again for being here, and we want to give you a sneak peek, because you may not know that War Mineral Springs is on the National Register of Historic Places. But there has never been a plaque marking that honor here on this site. And so we will be presenting a plaque to the City of Northport to recognize the historic designation, and we want to give you a sneak peek today. So I'm going to ask Commissioner Cutzinger, Mayor Luke, if you'd like to come up, Jonathan, and we're going to unveil what the plaque will look like so you have a sense. All right. Not a lot of space.
I think we can both fit.
So thank you all again so much for being here. This concludes our presentation and our centennial celebration. We have refreshments in the back. Please have some, yes, birthday cake and water. And we have some wonderful displays from various societies. We hope you'll check those out and spend some more time with us. And our fantastic band is gonna play us out for the next 30 minutes. So thank you again, everyone, for being here.